So you would rather have Donald Trump leave with the to-go
They're already
box?
at the cookout.
Listen. When are black people going to stop voting out of fear? Every election,
okay.
it's like,
Okay,
they're
so
scaring us to death.
Okay, so then
I have to address certain things because people, they hit me up, they write on my Facebook page, or they say certain things and they want me to address it. And so the next thing I have to address is the whole Bernie Sanders thing. So I'm not sure what goes on in the consciousness of enlightened beings, right? Well, actually, I'm sure of what goes on in the consciousness of enlightened beings, but I'm not sure what goes on in the consciousness of so-called conscious people. Because if you understand what is going on in this supposed White House, which is the Black House, really, then you would know that Bernie Sanders equals Ron Paul. And then what happens is with this whole thing is that they get everyone riled up to thinking that there's going to be some major change. And all you need to do is put your signature down here, and you need to get into this voting, and you need to cast this ballot. And you need to basically get into this magical ritual, because we're acting like if Bernie Sanders is elected into office, that he won't be surrounded by a staff of old owls that have been in that particular office of power since it began, damn near. You see, so these people, they say that they're conscious, but what kind of consciousness are they using when you can't just ping? Ping means send your frequency out. It will bounce off of whoever you're sending it out to, and then it will come back with the explanation of what exactly is going on. This is the truth. This is the field of truth. You cannot be lied to. When you activate yourself to the highest potential and you have that beam, aka laser, and you send that beam or that ran across to whatever you want to ping, it's going to tell you exactly what's going on with that person and what they're doing. It's going to sniff them like a sniff program on somebody's router. It's going to give you their IP address and exactly where they're coming from. So people, they come at me all the time, and see, it's just like I only sit back. I have a lot of compassion. So I can know who you are and what you're about and what you're doing and what you're saying, but that doesn't mean I have to tell you what you're about, what you're doing, what you're saying, especially since everyone pretty much is in this illusionary matrix until they pull themselves out of it. So it's like a cookie cutter in this matrix. That's why you don't get everyone inventing something new, because everyone's following that same path. So in that same path, you got these Bernie Sanders, and then they rally up with people like, it's obvious, like Bernie Sanders even linking up with Killer Mike. Just to get the black vote. Come on. Even if you were going to link up with someone, they shouldn't have Killer as their first name. But it's just showing you how this same programmer runs. So everyone rallied behind the Ron Paul like 4 years ago, all these quote unquote conscious people with no ping device. And then what happened? They voted. That means they got themselves entwined in it. See, because these are rituals. These people, they do magic that you wouldn't even believe. They do dark magic. And I would urge people to understand the difference between evil, or negativity. See, negativity is what you see on the battery. English has this problem. It rolls in words that don't even mean the same thing. Some people say, well, negativity is bad things, right? Okay. Evil is a culture. Evil is an action. Evil is a frequency. So when I say that you need to get familiar with positive and negative, I'm not telling you that you need to get familiar with evil. Okay, then this is something that's long since needing to be clarified. Like if you go and see one of these movies and where the witch is running, or the evil spirit with the backwards arms is running up all in the corner of the wall, and somehow when I say you need to balance yourself and you need to understand negativity, you think that I'm talking about that thing. That's not what I'm talking about. That's evil, and it is a culture. So we need to realize that this whole darkness, which none of us wants, nobody wants that kind of crap in their house. Nobody wants that around their children. Nobody really wants that in their consciousness. Now they play with it. You got people who play with it because they think everything's a game. So they'll run into the movie theater, let it completely embed their consciousness, be scared to sleep at night, Freddy Krueger's in the closet, et cetera, because they're playing with it. They're playing with the evil, playing with the frequency. But this has nothing to do with negativity. Negativity and positivity are poles that are used to create. So first of all, let us start to distinguish what these words really mean and not roll them all together. Now, these evil rituals is what we're going to be talking about here for just a moment. But this casting and these ballots, ballot is the female, meaning female ball, female king, balat. Okay, so getting into that whole culture, the moment that you put your signature down, which is a two-dimensional imprint of yourself, you're basically saying, here, I'm present, I'm casting my lot. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the polls, this May poll, and I'm going to go ahead and cast my lot. So when you get involved in that, you're not just voting for Bernie Sanders, you're actually voting for everyone else in that whole entourage, and now they have power over you. So don't put your signature or come into agreement with any of this, no matter how it looks. This is like the witch in the forest with the red apple that looks like a princess at first. And then, you get back, you bite the apple, you go to sleep, you get into the lair, and it's an old witch with a mole on her nose. This is that game. Show them, look at the protocols. Show them only the good face, the roses, and then leave the darkness and the poison where it is until they're infected by it. That's the whole process of these people. So this is almost like 101 for us. Even for me to have this conversation with many of the people, probably at least 30-40% of the people on this line is like, well, Seven, we already know that. But I'm talking about the 60% who have seemed to forgot, because they always, even when you enlighten them about the knowledge, they then tell you, well, I already knew that. You're just reminding me of that. I mean, that's like, man, what is it? Like, what more can I do? Let me know, because I have no problem with doing it. It's inexhaustible. But clearly, stay away from putting your signatures and your agreements with these people, and understand that they run the same game, and Bernie Sanders more than likely won't win. And even if he does, it's still going to mean the same regime. Look at the, what they call it, Agent X. It's a new television series. They explain to you within the first episode every single thing about the White House and about their Masonic involvements and their catacombs underneath the White House and their pledge to the allegiance of that whole crap that they've gotten themselves in, and the path that they're falling into and have fallen into. And if, because they'll always say, well, we rule the world. Well, no wonder what the problem is. See, some people, they almost are like Illuminati infected. They're persuaded by the Illuminati. They try to go find the magical ritual, and they try to get wear the star upside down, because they feel like that if they get this power somehow or become nominated or whatever, that they're going to have this control and that they're going to be in power. But see, this is how diluted the mind can become. If it was anything that was really going to work out, then our world would be working out. The reflection of what these people are doing and what they're involved in, if you decide that you want to somehow jump on their team, you're just going to jump on the losing team. These people are losers. Look what they've done. You see what I mean? So you got people that are entertained now, just like the victim of the person that's been raped and the rapist. They're being entertained by wanting to join the side that is dooming everyone in the event that they think in their mind that they're actually going to become successful. When the whole system is unsuccessful, it proves that in every single aspect of what it does. But that's how deep the illusion can get. So just make sure that you're not somehow being infected by the illusion, and they not have run one of these augmented reality overlays in front of you like Bernie Sanders to make you make a decision and make a move that is going to be irreversible, at least until next term. Disavow. Let go of all of it.
With Warren or Bernie Sanders in office, they're probably going to push a law like that here, right? I'm not saying don't vote for the liberals or don't vote for the Democrats or don't vote for the Republicans. I don't give a shit. I told you guys, I'm not voting for anybody. I'm not voting Democrat or Republican. I vote for black people. In every election, I will be voting for black people until a white man gives me a reason to go vote for him. If you don't care about me, I don't care about you. Fuck me, well, fuck you too. Seriously, if that's what equality looks like, black people. In case you're wondering what equality looks like, equality does not look like these celebrities that are telling you to go vote. They're demanding that you vote. You must vote. You better get out here and vote. If you don't vote, you don't count. Well, I'm like, if you doing all that damn demanding of black people to show up and vote, why aren't you doing that demanding on these white politicians to show up for black people?
We are the only community, and when I say only community, let me broaden it. Black and brown folks are the only ones who treat our politics as optional.
Yes.
It is a requirement for us to engage and not to expect a white man, a white woman, or somebody else, whether they're young, old, or in between, to carry all of our interests for us.
Form of entertainment dominated by money, profit, imagery, and spin, hype, and personality, and guaranteed to ensure that nothing in the way of real truth ever reaches the American citizenry. The sham is that most Americans actually believe that they're the ones choosing the next president. In truth, however, they're engaging in the illusion of participation, culminating in the reassurance ritual of voting. It's just another blue pill, a manufactured reality, conjured up by the Matrix in order to keep the populace compliant and convinced that their vote counts and that they still have some influence over the political process. Time for a reality check.
So much of what is going on, humans are not being told. We are not being told the real truth. Nothing in this world, nothing works the way you think it does.
This whole system is a sham. Whoever you vote for, it doesn't matter. It's all the electoral college and all this type of shit. Like, it's not real. It's an illusion of choice.
Your vote does not matter, not the way that you think that it does. Voting is one of the most successful propaganda scams in human history. Your vote doesn't count unless you're voting for your local sheriff or the county dog catcher. But the real ones, the big ones, presidential, gubernatorial, senatorial, mayoral, the big elections, the ones that matter, you're being scammed.
You can vote all your life and nothing will change. Government is designed to perpetuate the status quo. Black people are on the bottom of that status quo. So nothing you do, nothing you vote for is going to change that. If you want to change it, you have to change it yourself. Organizing our money, building our own infrastructure, financing our own agenda, that's the way out of this. See, when you vote, you don't vote for a policy anyway. The policy is already in place. Policy is given to the president. President don't come up with the policy. They give Obama the policy. They give Clinton the policy. They give Bush the policy. The people chose you, but this is what you're going to do. So when you vote, you don't vote for a policy. You vote for the personality who you want to implement the policy. In other words, you choose the personality. That's all you choose. You choose who's going to oppress you. But you're going to be oppressed regardless.
No matter who wins the presidential election, it's a sure bet that the losers will be the American people. Why? Because politics is entertainment. It's a heavily scripted, tightly choreographed, star-studded, ratings-driven, mass-marketed, costly exercise into how to sell a product. In this case, a presidential candidate. Designed to dazzle voters who will choose image over substance almost every time. Wake up, people. We're being sold a carefully crafted product by a moneyed elite who are masters in the art of making the public believe that they need exactly what is being sold to them.
The average person who thinks that when they go to the ballot box that they're actually voting, right? They're exercising a constitutional right. The constitutional right only protects private citizens. Everybody since 1933 has been made public under the Trading with the Enemy Act. Public property. So that means all of the people are in a position now where they are taxable assets to be managed by the head trustee, whoever is the president of the United States. So based on that, the people elect who they want to be elected to then elect the president. So your vote don't count by itself. You don't count as an individual, especially if you have no standing in law.
You know, now people who know the real history know that. People who don't know the real history think that's Negro rights voting. And they will defend it because, our Christian ministers marched and prayed for our right to vote. Their votes didn't count then, they don't count now, never did, never will. It's accepted as a sanctioning for their enslavement. Interesting thing too, I was sitting actually having coffee, and I was talking to a couple teachers and a manager of a store earlier today, and they went through the usual spiel of attacking Trump and why the people got to get out in the rain and vote because their ancestors died for the right to vote and all this other stuff. They don't even know, the whole deal. I mean, they run around with badges on and stuff in the rain and with their children on, like they're showing they're really serious. They don't even know the United States Corporation is a company. They don't even know the difference between nation. They don't even know they're under occupation. They don't know the Europeans are Europeans. They're not Americans. They don't know that the U.S. government is a private corporation put in place politically to suppress the republic and the Constitution and every one of their rights. They do not know that contrary to the party line that most of our people project in their everyday conversations, anything that had a residual of benefit to the Aboriginal people of the land at all came from the Republican Party. Not one thing came from the Democratic Party. And yet they hate the Republican Party and vote Democratic. It's like an oxymoron.
So what's the solution to this blatant display of imperial elitism disguising itself as a populist exercise in representative government? Stop playing the game. Stop supporting the system. Stop defending the insanity. Just stop. Stop buying into the lie that your vote matters.